In a dwindling economy, starting a new business can be challenging. The constant inability makes it necessary to seek new opportunities, which is why identifying market opportunities as a startup or business growth is very important. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk. My name is Olujo Kemusaku with the topic identifying business opportunities in a dwindling economy. In a dwindling economy, I need to say that again. All right, thank you so much for that. And my guest is Dr. Rashidat Sanni, an entrepreneur, finance strategist, and CEO, Arsan Ventures. I'm sure you're looking forward to hearing what we have to discuss about the economy. We know that a lot has been going on around the world, but it is necessary for us to also help ourselves to know what to do and how to go about it. Once again, thank you for always watching Let's Talk. But before we delve into the program proper, I'd like to remind you, as usual, to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Thank you once again for standing by. Thank you, Dr. Rashidat Sanni, for coming on the show. It's nice having you here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, let's talk about the state of economy in the world using the US as a case study.
Yeah, okay. That's a big question right there. Of course, a lot of us are aware of what's happening, especially in the US with where I am based at right now, where, like we're pretty much in a recession right now, even though maybe they still haven't really labeled it necessarily that, but we see what's happening with the interest rates being so high right now, where the American dream of that they define as buying a home, people cannot even afford that right now with the high interest rates, right? And then also we see inflation still high, even though it went down a little bit, and people laying off employees here and there, like the newest of the biggest companies out there, Meta, Twitter, that have laid off like a lot of people, like thousands of people right there. So it's just really unfortunate to see that, but it's something that's temporary. We will get out of it, but how can we get out of it? How can we get ahead of it and just still put ourselves in a better position? That's some of the things that we are going to be discussing today, of course.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, you were once in the corporate world, a medical doctor at that. What changed?
I'm a pharmacist, actually. So
Okay,
I'm a doctor of pharmacy. I have my PharmD degree, and I did that like 8 years, pretty much. But for me, of course, being an immigrant, what I knew growing up was that my parents have instilled into us from young age, my siblings and myself. I'm sure you can also relate, is to go to school, get the highest level degree and get a job, which they believe to be the most secure way of acquiring wealth and being successful. So, but for me, I was met with like the huge reality, like a shocker. Like 3 years ago, when I was suddenly laid off from my own job that I really loved as a pharmacist. Okay. So there was no warning. It was only 2 weeks notice, no severance package whatsoever. And that was really, I was panicking when I found out that. So that was what made me like being an eye opener that made me decide, you know what? I will never rely on a full-time job anymore for my livelihood. I have to do something differently. I have to find other sources of income so that I would never be in that position again. And that's what I have done, the last 4 years pretty much that I have started in the entrepreneurial space.
Now, how did you identify what kind of business to venture into? Having gone through having gone through the layoff. So, how has it been so far?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, for me, luckily, like maybe a year before I was laid off, have been looking for ways to have, like, when you talk about side hustle to have additional source of income. We all know having a job right now is, or one source of income is too close to having nothing right now, especially being laid off unexpectedly and not having any backup there, right? So I had started in the financial space. I started as a strategist on a part-time basis. I started learning about that, and that started with me wanting to know what I should be doing with my own money, right? Making this set income. I don't want to spend it like lavishly and not having something to fall back on. And I really want to be financially free way sooner than 65, that this society has put on us. So I was looking for ways to be able to do that. I met with a Stripe professional that helped me there, and they introduced me to the business. I became fascinated, wanted to learn more. So I became a part of it. And believe it or not, it's actually a network marketing company. I didn't know that before. It was just me being curious, wanting to learn. But I found out later, but it didn't really matter to me because it's something that I was really interested in going into. I know a lot of people, when they hear network marketing, they think, okay, yeah, maybe it's a scam, etc., right? But it can be a lot more. But that has really evolved to other things, right? It has evolved. It has allowed me to really learn how to develop myself. I did a lot of personal development, a lot of learning, a lot of growing, mindset development there, reading books, attending, mastermind programs, etc. And that really shifted my focus from being employee focused to now entrepreneurship, opening to different opportunities that are out there. So that was the foundation for me. Now I'm with wealth management, comprehensive wealth management firm where I'm able to provide more to my clients there. And at the same time, I made a declaration for myself that I wanted to be financially free by 40. Okay. So that was a big driving force. And to be able to do that, I figured I really needed to have like more of a passive income coming in, and passive income meaning income that I am earning with little to no effort. Okay, maybe through an investment property that is generating me cash flow monthly. So I was looking for ways to be able to do that. And of course, when you ask yourself question, how can I make this happen? How can this work out for me? Your brain goes to work and it starts capturing all of these opportunities that are out there. And that's what happened for me. I came about like multiple people talking about like Airbnb, short-term rentals. And I thought, how can I do this without owning a property? I don't own any property. So, and I found like people talking about how you can actually do it without owning any property. So that piqued my interest right away. And I found a program that actually worked for me, that the person has done it in my own profession. They were able to leave their pharmacy job and, do full time and not having to worry about money. So that was my person. I invested into this program to learn the skills to be able to do this. And then we started from no property in January of this year. 2022 to now having 10 homes that we run on a short-term basis, mid-term basis, or corporate housing, whatever you call it. So like the Airbnb style. So that's how I started. It was just more of me having to work on myself first, and identifying, like learning some skills, and then implementing. That's another thing. A lot of people learn skills, but they don't put it into action. But I actually implemented, and that was what worked out for me. And that has opened up to other opportunities. So now people reaching out, asking me to train them, mentor them, and actually make some money from there without advertising that necessarily. And then also people reaching out to having me, manage their properties, etc. So that's just what happens when you open your mind to opportunities, and it just leads you to multiple different places when you are good at it, when you actually take the time to learn and implement, and you are good at it and people see it.
Thank you so much for that. You actually blew my mind when you talked about starting this January, and as of today, you have 10 properties. Well, hold that thought. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program is Let's Talk, and I've been speaking with Dr. Rashidat Sanni. She is the CEO, Arson Ventures. So if you're just joining us, I know you missed a little, but you can always catch up later. So just enjoy the ride with us again as we continue from where we stopped. Thank you, Dr. Rashidat, for standing by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, before we went on that break, you said you started your business January this year, 2022. And as at November 2022, you have 10 buildings. Now, having shared your journey with us, tell us how to identify or spot business opportunities in a dwindling economy or a rising inflation. Because I know that you starting out with that, it wasn't that easy.
Right, right. So yeah, for the short-term rental side that I started in January, um, and for me to identify what you can do in this type of economy, there are multiple ways, right? The easiest way is probably to look at what you already have. Maybe you are a professional, you went to school for something, specialize in something. Me, for example, as a pharmacist, maybe you're a pharmacist, maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're a nurse practitioner, a nurse, whatever your profession is, you have some knowledge. You went to school for that and you are knowledgeable in one area. Maybe you have a disease state that you enjoy talking about and helping your patients on. I'm just using this as an example, right? So this is where you can start. Say, okay, how can I target a specific group of people that need what I have here that I can educate? And maybe you can start a course for them, package a course that you are able to sell to them, and you give them guide on how to really properly manage their disease state. That's one example, but you may be in a different field outside of the healthcare space. It will be the same thing. What do you know already that you can package up and start monetizing, right? So that's one aspect. And another aspect, and usually those are very easier to get into and less capital intensive. So, and another way that you can get into like the business entrepreneurship is to see what other people are doing. And again, being open-minded to opportunities and putting your ears down, and having your brain go to work and capturing these opportunities and actually taking a look and giving it a shot. Okay, so you may not be good at something necessarily, you didn't go to school for it, but all of these skills are learnable. Okay, I had no background, no knowledge about Airbnb short-term rental, right? But I was able to learn the skill with the guidance and mentorship of the person who trained me. And I was able to get started and build it to what we have right now, and still building, and then being able to teach other people, mentor other people with that. So those are the ways, and don't be afraid to really invest in yourself in learning the skills. I know it's easier to say, okay, man, I went to school this year, I spend all this money, now I have to spend more. No, you have to continuously spending money on yourself, improving yourself, growing, adding new skills, and that's what's going to allow you to achieve your financial goals here and to be able to get ahead of what's happening in the economy right now.
That's really, really, really beautiful. Yeah, something actually jumped in my mind while you were talking. I would like to ask, are you still in network marketing?
I am not. I am not.
So it
Yeah,
was just a flashlight for you to know where exactly you're treading.
exactly. So it was the step in to the entrepreneurial space that I needed, because that was what allowed me to really step out of my comfort zone and really learn the mindset of anyone going into business, man. It really pushed me. And I was very grateful for that experience. But of course, from there, we have grown into different space. I'm still in the financial space, but with now more of a comprehensive company that's more focused on the client, and then more holistic approach, helping them the way that they really needed to be helped to help them achieve their financial goals. Right.
Okay. Now you said you have a coach. How did you identify the right person to go to? Is it while you were doing your network marketing? Because I understand that in network marketing, there is always a coach, the downline, the upline. I also tried it sometime. So is it from there, or you were just searching?
Yeah, I was just searching. What I have mentors and coaches for different things, different aspects of my life. I have a business mentor. I have mentors in my field of practice specifically, right? And I have my mentor for, like the short-term rental side of things, right? So mentorship is never going to end, and that's going to be one of the most valuable investments you make, because they've already gone through what you were trying to go through. So that's one big way to identify the right person to work with. Have they done what you are trying to do? Okay, and do they have proven record, like a track record, to show that they've achieved success there? Because it's going to be crazy to learn from some, like, you want to be a millionaire, for example, and you are listening to someone who barely is able to put food on the table as your mentor. So you're not going to do that. You're going to look for someone who has made $1 million the right way, and then learn from them what did they do to be able to get there. So that way you can follow in their footsteps and be able to achieve that $1 million mark.
Thank you so much. Now, having identified what to do, the kind of business to venture into, what strategy should be put in place to ensure a smooth takeoff?
So like I mentioned earlier, to be able to venture into business, so like there are multiple different ways to be able to get in there, right? It depends on the route that you are taking to get in. Like, are you saying, oh, I love talking about a specific topic and I know there's a need for it, and I can brush up on that, package it up, and give it to my audience, right? So that's one. And then You want to look for something that it's not a very huge capital intensive right now. Well, we don't know with the economy right now. It's there's so many uncertainties, and you may not be in the position, or you may not want to take like a huge risk of putting everything that you have into a business venture, especially if it's like brick and mortar type of business, right? Where you have to have an office space. We see what happened with COVID, etc. A lot of businesses are shifting online, and they're not as taking a lot of money to be able to get started and get going. So those are some of the things that I would encourage maybe looking into, that wouldn't like take too much money out of your pocket. It just depends on what you love, what you enjoy, and what you want to do, and what you are interested in. That's what's going to guide you to the next step on how to get going with it.
Mm.
And then you learn as you go, like you make adjustment, but you can't find out what's going to work for you unless you actually put your foot forward and test the water.
Sure, life is a risk, so you have to learn to take the risk no matter what. As long as you don't want to live on paycheck to paycheck anymore. Yeah. Now let's quickly talk about Airbnb. Knowing the rising cost in rentage or having to get into buying a home, we have a credit card. The percentage on credit card is rising. So many things like that. Cost of home rentals is also on the high side. Now, just give us a peep into how it is.
Yeah, so with the approach that I take, it is not a huge capital to start. Okay, so I'm leasing this property, so I'm leveraging other people's property to do this. So with that, yeah, I know the rent is a little higher right now, but it's still what I would, if I would buy a house right now, like a property, single family home, and do what I am doing, I might be putting down maybe like $50,000 down payment or more, right? Depending on the type of mortgage I'm able to get at this time. So the same amount of money for one property, I could lease 3 properties with that and be able to generate 3 times cash flow from there. Because it's going to be the same cash flow, similar cash flow that I would generate from one home that I own, that I would also generate from a home that I am renting, if that makes sense. So it's easier to be able to do that by renting other people's property, of course, with agreement with the owner that you can do the business that you are doing there. So it has to be in writing, you being in business, right? You don't want people shutting you down. So that's how I have been able to do it. And you can look into that. I actually mentor others in that right now. So if you're interested, absolutely, we can connect and discuss that route.
So, what advice do you have for people, or any final word as a roundup?
If you have not started yet and you're still on the fence of looking into business and you're still talking about it, you've been talking about it this time, this is your indication to actually get going. Okay. You cannot do anything by just sitting down and just strategizing all these years. If you've been talking about it, it's an indication for you to get going. So, and you can have all your ducks in a row. You can't know everything. You can't foresee everything that can happen, right? So I have, even though I learned everything that I'm doing from people who have gone through it, I'm still facing some challenges. I've faced challenges that I had to work through as they came on, right? And I'm still facing challenges as I go, and we'll continue to work through it. So that's how business works. It's not always going to go smoothly. So you have to just have that faith and just jump right into it get going. Okay. And that is how you're going to improve and actually achieve all your goals. You're not going to achieve it by just sitting down. So just do it and be open minded. If you don't have business ideas yet, be open minded to what people are talking about. If it's network marketing, which I'm still a good advocate for network marketing. If it's network marketing, you like what they're doing, you like that model, look into it and see if it's going to work for you. If it doesn't work for you, you can move on to the next best thing that you come across.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rashidat Sanni. It's been wonderful having you here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Thank you too out there for being part of the show. Remember, you can't continue to sit down and wait for things to come to you. You need to go out there and get things done. Get yourself dirty and wear the best of clothes later. Until next time when I come your way again, I remain Olujoke Mosako. Bye for now.